I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, backed by popular demand, we have to prostrate.
People have been complaining about that.
So let's start with a little meditation. It can be eyes open, eyes closed. Relaxing your body. Taking a little scan of your posture, checking to see if your spine is as straight as it can be without tension, so that you find that magic spot where you feel like you're opening to reality, saying yes to reality, ready for reality, whatever it may be. If you think about the position that the body would be in if you were saying no to reality, no to things as they are. Maybe there would be some slouching and some turning inward and some grimacing, but if you have a yes as you go into meditation, then you can feel a opening there, participation. Who knows what might happen? We don't have a singing bowl tonight, but you do have a singing bowl. You have a skeleton. And you can feel your inner body ring. So let's do that by oming together for our first meditation. And we'll do that in the style of the Omkar, where we're not syncopated together, we're not breathing on the inhale and exhale together. We'll begin together, and then when your exhale runs out on your Om, inhale in your time and start your next Om, so that it'll be a big overlapping sea of sound. And try to be very inward. Of course, we'll probably all start off in the same tone. It's natural or not. But try and allow the tone to ring in your skeleton, in your body, in your inner body, in your mind, that just wants to sound right now. And it may be a harmony note with everyone else. It may be a dissonant note, which will create its own sound. Often a dissonant note can create a whole, blow the ceiling off the place sometimes, and a whole other vibration can enter, be felt. So let's start. Turning inward, turning inward. Inhale. Doesn't have to be Om, could be U, could be Ah, could be E, could be any sound you want to make. that space of mind or that state of mind that you may have touched into as you rang your body. Try and come out of the meditation staying in tune with any sort of effortless state that you may have touched into there, where you weren't thinking about what to do or why to do, but you were just simply there, enjoying, living, making a sound. So as you return more into the room, as you open your eyes, try and have that as your relaxed state, as you then take in the appearances that appear to you as you open your eyes slowly, gently. You don't leap out. You take little steps out so that you can still have that quietness that you may have made or touched into by making sound. So did you notice, what happens when like a different note sort of, someone hits a different note and the whole thing changes, And it's a physical feeling. It's a whole other dimension is created with that vibration. It's like, and what is interesting to me is so many times doing something like this in a group setting, it often just ends when it ends, and it's usually not like it's like and it just ends in this chord. It's happened so many times. It's like being in communion with each other. Like we were just talking to each other. Just in a different way. Someone offered a note. And there's how nice to be off of like opinions, How nice to be off of, I don't agree with your take on the matter. I think we should, have a lengthy discussion and see which one of us is right. Instead, we had that kind of a talk. And that's the world. There's some discord in the world. There's some harmony in the world. I don't know if anybody ever saw this movie. Yeah, I think it was called The Alamo. And Billy Bob Thornton was in that movie. And he was a trumpet player. And I think he was actually playing the part of Daniel Boone in that movie. And all through the movie, I don't remember much about it except for this little scene really struck me. They were kind of like two battalions, when there was this field between them, and they would be shooting cannons at each other, and all day and all night, and on the Mexican side, they would often be playing music, like that Mexican music with lots of trumpets and stuff. And at one scene, there's all this cannons going, and the Mexicans are getting themselves going with the music, trumpeting up, and they're hammering away, and all through the movie, you see Billy Bob Thornton, and he's like listening, and finally he figures it out, and he just gets his trumpet, and he just starts to play, and he figured out the harmony to the song, and the whole war stopped. The whole war just stopped, the cannon stopped, and silence filled the air. And all he said, he looked around and he said, "It's amazing what a little harmony will do." And that's it. And like that stayed with me for my whole life. I don't remember anything else about that movie, except for his ridiculous raccoon hat. But, Billy Bob Thornton. But, that's what he wanted. He didn't want anybody to win the war or lose the war. He just wanted some harmony. And this is what a meditation practice is for, so that you can find your note. And then you know where you should be. Because everyone's note is different. Everyone's note is different. If you're lucky, you meet someone and there's a nice harmony. And sometimes there's some dissonance there. Neither one is more appropriate than the other. Now that is hard. I wanted to talk about the possibilities of meditation and what can happen. So let's there's reality. Okay? Now, you're existing on one of these lines. But really, you're not, really you're existing everywhere. Really, you're this thing. You're actually this thing. But unless you know that, then you're not this thing. You're one of these things. Okay? Each ring is like a plane of reality. It's your reality. It's a level of your consciousness. It's what's important to you. Each one of these consecutive rings, as you go further towards the center, different things become important to you. So on the outer layer, you might say, maybe people that don't meditate are not really concerned about, depending, right? They're very into material things, really A lot of competition, competitive. Wanting to be somebody, wanting to be better than somebody. Which must then also be, you're less than somebody. If you for 1 second think you're better than somebody, then you're less than somebody else. That's just the way it is. There's no way around it. It's like they're not even opposite, really. They're just like the same energy. You can't have one without the other. So the further you go inward, the further that you can reach a consecutive ring in, you begin to live a clearer and more relaxed and more awake state of mind. See, out here, lots of distraction. And you can also look at it as the further you go in, the more self-acceptance that you have. If you have like zero self-acceptance, and you struggle with who you are, who you think you're supposed to be, who am I supposed to be? I'm not who I'm supposed to be. Then you're kind of like somewhere in these outer rings where you haven't quite gotten in far enough to get close enough to this center. The center is total awake. You're completely awake. You're no longer asleep. You're enlightened. And when you're awake, you can see all of these from the inside looking out. And you can see all the people that are all in these rings at certain levels. So if you have, like you say, let's use a different color. If you got, say, a teacher who is like, maybe they're not totally enlightened yet. Maybe they're like right here. They're living on this ring. And they've let go of a lot of greed, letting go of a lot of competition. They're not experiencing jealousy anymore. They're experiencing more and more love. And the further inward you go, the more love that you get to live. So if you say you have a teacher or it's just somebody in your life that has reached this place by meditating enough and looking at their subtle desires enough to be free of them. And if somebody is like hovering around this kind of area, there's a bunch of people that are hanging out here. This person, their very state of mind is drawing you in. Is drawing you in because of the clarity of their mind. And so the words is just all like useful kind of banter in a way that maybe can help you understand something, maybe, or keep you in the room long enough. But really what's going on is there's a magnetism that's like a transmission, that's like a connection from heart to heart that pulls you. And so you may be thinking, a desire to, I got to change my whole life. My life is chaos right now. I'm doing way too much. I just want to drop this whole thing that I think I am. You can't. You can't just drop the whole thing. What you're really desiring is you want to go in one more ring. You want to go in one more ring. And then when you get one more ring in, there's going to be a whole other level of things that pop up in your mind that you have to get used to and then realize, oh, those are also identities that I need to let go of. And they get more and more subtle until you're down, you're down into here. Down into here. And at this point, you're almost like no mind. At this point, you're almost operating with no ego, no mind, no small m mind. But you're fully in the world, and you're operating, you're speaking, you're working, you're living, you're loving. And this part is no different than out here. It's no different. You're just aware of different things. You're just aware of, oh, I still think that's real. I still think those things exist the way I think they do. And then you jump in. Finally, you reach here, and you're enlightened. The way from here to here, the way in is through your mind. There's nothing in the world that can take you from here to here. Nothing. You have to do it. You have to become aware of the things that you think. Because those are the rings. And just like, relating to yourself as a spiritual practitioner is one of these rings. Maybe it's in here. Maybe you're in here now, and you're meditating and you're practicing and you're, doing things to help you get here. But you have to let go of being a spiritual practitioner. It just happens to take spiritual practice to do that. And where is it? It's right here. This is right here. That is right here. It's right here. It's nowhere else. It's right here, right now. So why don't we go there? Right? Why don't we go there right now? Why don't we all just wake up right now? Who's ready? Yeah. Are you nervous? Sean's not. Are you excited? Are you doubtful? Can you even imagine it? The world is so full of problems. See, they're not solvable. You see, there is no world problem that's solvable. It's a new one will pop up. As soon as you fix one thing, a new thing will pop up. It's It's just your mind. So how do you do that? How do you actually wake up to the thing you are? How do you realize the thing that you already are?
Realizing things that you don't already realize about yourself.
By realizing things. Say that again?
There's like all these obscurations that like I'm not aware of. So in order for me to get to the inner circle, I first have to uncover those because I have no clue. I've never seen them before. I don't know where they are.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like waiting in the shadows. They're waiting there for you. And people bring them out. Just when you thought you were safe. Just when you thought it was safe to leave the kitchen. Someone was in the living room waiting for you to show you the shadow that lurked, has been lurking all morning and all your life, right? It's just, it's so simple that it's unimaginably simple. Can you imagine living without your affliction? What would you do? Could you imagine living without like this Can you even imagine it? What will you do? What will you even do? Lots of stuff. There's so much to be experienced. You can experience it from a place of being in the center, or you can experience it from a place of being out here. Just like how you do it. That's how we do it. So we sit here. We sit here and just hang out. Be aware of the things that you're thinking. This crazy guy saying this crazy stuff. Maybe not. Maybe you're like, oh, he's finally saying the right thing. He's finally going to do it. It's finally going to happen. He's finally saying something real. Whatever it is. I can't become enlightened. Not right now, anyways. Not right now. Maybe 10 years from now. I got stuff. I need to do some work. The resistance. So just be aware of what you're thinking. And realize that it's just something that you're thinking. Who is thinking the thought? Whatever level of thought that you're having, is not you. If you're doing it with any sort of I don't want to use the word right, that you may notice a feeling of expansiveness that begins to happen. If you're thinking about it too hard, what does it mean? How can that's another one. You have to drop that too. It's safe to do this while you're in your meditation person. Trying to do it at home alone. But you can do it any time you have any time of the day. You're at work, you're sitting at your desk, whatever you're doing, you're walking around, you're on the bus. Just pay attention to all the things that you're assuming about everyone around you and all maybe problems that you're mulling over in your mind, and just drop the whole thing. Just like go one ring in. Go one step further in. And it will probably feel strange, uncomfortable, maybe, depending on how much you meditate. But when you can let go of those things, something will fill the space that was being filled by your confusion. And it will be like from the center out, an energetic thing will fill you like a balloon almost. And you'll have a buoyant joy. A buoyant joy. Why? Because you've just stopped trying to make it work. Just for a moment, you stopped trying to make the world work. That's what's happening. You see, in the little microsecond that you pull it off for a second, you stopped trying to make the world work just for a moment, and elation. And then it starts to crowd in again. It starts to come in. Yeah, things to do, the world's gotta do, gotta, I'm gonna be, gotta. Right? And then you just like, a moment you think, oh, what did John say? For a moment, you know? You just like, oh, and you see it for what it is. Just a big play. Just a play. And you just like, wait a minute. And you look at it. Who's looking at it? You see, when you're in it, you can't see it. Because you are it. You see, you are it. And each consecutive ring you go in, you can see the one that you can see the further ones out. Because you went through them all. You know? It's like a totally enlightened being, you know, sitting in here, can see things that the outer two, the final like 3 little rings are getting so close they can't see what the Buddha can see. They can't see what an enlightened being can see. But the enlightened being can see, oh yeah, they're close. They're so close. But they haven't let it go yet. They're still hanging on. Still hanging on. They're still trying to make the world work. Even just a little bit. That's all it is. That's the whole thing. Is going from trying to rule a corporate kingdom right down to here where you're just trying to maintain some semblance of John. Can't I be John just a little bit? Can't I have a little bit of John? Just a little bit? No, you can't. Not if you want to not if you want to wake up. Not if you want to live awake. I can have all kinds of John. Sure I can. I can experience all kinds of fun John. John does some really fun stuff. But there's a difference between having that experience of that thing that functions in the world versus trying to be that thing. There's 2 very different things. So let's take a break. Let's take a break, stand up, shake it off. Before Sharon loses his leg or something.
Yeah, I've never had a fall asleep that
Can we
way
get a massage now?
Yeah, it's fine. Pretty sure I could have cut off my foot and I wouldn't have noticed.
Oh, like one of those?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had one of those in class last time. Remember when I fell over?
Yeah.
So you could have cut mine. Off the fucking ankle there.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I was being distracting.
No.
Nice, thank you. I've become addicted to these savory cookies. These like chewy peanut chocolate cookies. So like
That they saw in the bakery?
yes, they're hard. They're like hard crust on the outside,
Yeah.
and they're like really soft and chewy. It's like really bad. I ate like the entire.
What's happening out here now?
Last girl got
But yeah, I've experienced a lot of craving for these safe baked cookies.
Which one?
There's these chocolate. I'll bring them next time. There's these chocolate peanut butter, peanut chocolate cookies. So like they're chocolate, but they've got pieces of peanuts in them, and they're hard on the outside, but they're like not hard. They're like kind of crunchy on the outside, and they're really soft on the inside. Chewy. Yeah, they're chewy. And actually, like very, very noticeable that like last night I was like standing in the pantry and I was like standing there for a few seconds and then I just like turned around and walked away. I didn't last night, and then today I was like, oh, I'm gonna eat a cookie before I drive out for here, and then I forgot because I was like busy. And then on my way I was like, oh man. Yeah.
I don't get any more, but I used to get the sacred donut cravings.
Oh yeah.
The cake donuts.
Right.
Cinnamon sugar donuts.
Oh yeah, I get addicted to those the CB wafers, right?
Well, this is healthy, isn't it? Seaweed.
I think they're healthy if you eat them a little bit. Buy packages from Costco. Costco's like everything.
They're so light, so you could probably take the whole package and eat it all at once.
Yeah.
Have you done that before? You
And
have.
then I think about it, like, my cycle mode, I'm like, that's seaweed.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is with the cookies.
And then my folks that I work with in downtown,
Sure.
You know, they're always thinking about
Yeah.
that aspect.
Thank you for getting the.
I'm wondering, so, everybody's opinion is welcome, but do you find that when if you've been meditating pretty frequently for a while, that you notice these sorts of things, they become stronger, or like, you notice them more? Do you find that? I find that too, so. Okay. That craving thing.
It's more poignant, more.
Yeah. I don't know if they become stronger or you just become more aware of them, but
Maybe you become more aware of how much they have. That you're just doing all of
and have you read Alan Wallace's The Attention Revolution?
Bits and pieces of it, I have it. Yeah, I've done it for you. There's some other meditations on that, the first few of these.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Have you read it?
I'm about halfway through.
Halfway through?
Yeah. I'm reading it right now, but it can be kind of discouraging sometimes because he's like, Alan Wallace is like, spent so much of his life in like meditation and all this stuff, and so a lot of times he says things like, you can't, so it's all those 9 stages, right?
Mhm.
And then like, it's like level, 4 or 3 is like, it's impossible to reach level 3 or level 4 unless you're like, doing this 8 hours a day. And then he's like, scientists have said that to become an expert at anything, you have to do it for 8 hours a day, or like 10,000 hours or something like that. And so that's like 8 hours a day, 52 weeks a year, for like 5 years or 6 years. Right? So then I'm like, oh, well, does that mean that it's not possible for people who have like, jobs and stuff like that to get to like those levels? But I don't know. I don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah,
But
it felt kind of changed because I got really comfortable with that when you first came, and then like the more and more that you went to like kind of what we did today, I think that is almost like a fast track or a way.
yeah. And I guess some of it probably depends on
Hello, man.
This is great what you're teaching.
Oh, yeah?
It's amazing.
Oh, good.
like your
Good to enjoy it.
level of your
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think like this. It was like I was here before.
Oh, oh, good.
Like the
Yeah,
realistic thing
it's
of having
the book that I'm reading at the moment.
But is it like
It's all about
and then you start to create these
Physics?
yeah, but like just that we are.
It's just yeah, because that's just how you are all the time.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, everything you're saying.
Please turn.
That's I'm gonna like set up reminders on my phone.
It shows these two hands and it talks about the authentic self. It calls it the self, but like
So then my boss comes into the walk and is like, what are you doing in here?
and then
Just
the
kidding.
fake persona, they're very fake to ourselves. That is easy. And uncovering that, like through meditation, it's like the only way that you can do it is through meditation.
Sure. Yeah.
It's really amazing. I'm sure it's all those having good notes.
I think this is my cute.
What are you doing?
It's a bit cool.
All right, let's get back on here.
The condition was on. It has a little mind of its own.
What has a little mind of its own? What's that?
Air conditioner.
Oh,
That's what generating all these.
Yeah.
All these I have to go.
Somebody in one part of the building will turn off the heat, but it kicks on the air conditioning. in the other
Yeah.
part of the building.
So
it's pretty big building size.
I don't know.
Have an hour fight.
Are you cold?
Great, you can turn these. That's fantastic.
Well,
No,
let's
that's
get the heater,
fantastic. No, honestly, I hate my jacket. I'm so thrilled.
Some blankets.
I'm thrilled not to be hot.
Oh, well, there you go. So thrilled not to be hot. Sounds like we should make a t-shirt out of that.
Wonderful. Won't last long.
All right, let's settle down from our break there, and we'll do a little meditation. When will I see you again, Joyce? I used to see Joyce every day.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. Now almost never.
Mm-hmm.
But you're busy. Look for tension and breathe into it. Inhale into it. Exhale it away as you straighten the spine with the shoulders relaxed. So important. The relaxation part is so important. All the great musicians that they get asked questions, you know, what's your advice? People that want to get better. And so many times they say, relax. They say, if you're trying to learn something, don't play it so fast that you can't play it. And you're getting all tense because you want to play it that fast. You want to be that good. They say slow it down to the point that you can play it with being completely relaxed. Then speed it up a little bit. As soon as you notice any tension, stop, relax, slow it down, start again. Meditation is the same. Tension is a sign that you're trying too hard at something. At something. You don't need to know what that something is. All you need to do is relax. We'll take care of it. Let's use the method of watching the breath. Now let's use the method of watching the breath at the tip of the nostrils as our method. To draw the mind in. To pull yourself into presence. the subtle sensations of breath as it passes the nostrils in and out. Breath can be a very engaging and exciting object. You're witnessing the miracle of life. Existence, ebb and flow of life. You don't even have to think about your breath. It happens on its own. Begin now to think about the world in your mind. Think about the world that you know around you. The details, the people in it. It's like you're an observer checking in on your life. Some other observer looking at what you see in your life somehow has this lens that can look through your experience and see what you experience. And this observer also sees the you, the me. That you relate to as being the me. I. This observer doesn't know anything about you. He's just popping in. This observer is just popping in and taking a look. Try and imagine what this observer sees. Now, be more local in a way, and just with your mind's eye, consider what you know of this very room that we're in, from your experience of this room, your experience of this room. and the beings that are in this room, the ones that you can see. And then narrow it down to one person. Someone in the room. Just contemplate them in your mind. Be aware of them in your mind. Notice the mental image that pops up. And continues to pop up. See if you can see how it can appear so solid, so real, as if this is the truth of the person, as if this is what this person is. And then take a brief moment step away from that thought and just let it fall away. And just in your mind see them just in a pure present. Detect, if you can, the feeling in your mind and in your body. It may be a physical feeling. The difference in holding that mental image of your belief about them and then just dropping it. Try to imagine them seeing you and what they may, or no, let's not say that, what you think they think about you. See it appear like a phantom. Notice that that is the kind of thing that makes your world, is this belief about how you think they see you. And again, drop it. And in your mind, see yourself across from this person in your mind. Not only have you dropped how you think they are, but you've also dropped how you think they see you. Notice the feeling in your body, in your heart, in your mind. Notice the thoughts that arise. Because they must. It's not a problem. These thoughts that arise. Continue to let the facades just evaporate the same way they arrived. Notice the difference in maybe it's more comfortable to hang on to what you think they think of you and what you think they are. And how, if you don't have that, what do you have? The question is in the you. See if you can see yourself as space itself that just happens to be aware of what is filling the space. And that includes a version of this emanation of this lifetime. How many others have there been? It doesn't matter how many there have been, does it? It just doesn't matter. All you have ever been, all you ever can be, all exists in one moment of sheer presence. We'll slowly come out of the meditation, gently. So gently that maybe it won't even be like you come out of your meditation. Maybe you'll just open your eyelids and remain. Watch for any tension as you surface. Let it go if you can. your legs out. Anything you need to do to get comfortable. And just look around the room at the people that are in the room. Maybe you can have it. Maybe you can have that as you peek around and say hi, meet each other's eyes. You can live in a very, very fresh reality. There doesn't need to be anything stale about it. Any questions? Anybody want to talk about anything?
No question.
Yeah.
I'm focusing on my breath sometimes. I don't know if anybody else has the same experience, but I often find that my eyes kind of roll to the back of my head, and sometimes it's always like a little bit painful. Like not so much that it's unbearable, but sometimes it can be more painful than other times, and it lasts for maybe like a few seconds, and then it goes away. But then my eyes like continue to stay that way. But then after that, I'm more focused on my breath than before. And I was just wondering if that's a sign of trying too hard, or is that just normal, or if anybody else has ever experienced that? Or
Anyone else in the room ever experienced something like that? Sean's describing? You're the only one now. No, I have experienced those kinds of things.
It happens like every time.
Yeah, it's not necessarily from trying too hard. So, when it happens, so you're watching the breath. Is it at the nostrils that you're at the nostrils? How do your, if you could have an awareness of like how relaxed your face is and your eyes are at that time, like right before it happens, I mean, would you be able to say anything to that?
Well, lately, I guess for the last couple of weeks, I've noticed that my face would be kind of tight around the eyelids and then around the cheeks. So I've been trying to focus on just imagining my face like melting kind of thing.
Okay.
But the eyes thing seems to be independent of that.
And so when your eyes roll back and you have the pain, do you see anything in your mind? Does anything appear to you?
No. So I used to have a pain like in the third eye region a while ago, but that's gone. Now I don't feel that at all.
Okay.
This is just like it's a mechanical, like physical pain of like my eyeballs.
Your
like,
eyeballs, it's actually
just
physical.
rolling back too
Yeah.
much. So,
Yeah.
or I don't know if it's too much or not, but
Mhm.
it's like that. But anyways, I just wanted to see if other people have that or not. But
I think so. I think that people experience all variations of those kinds of things. What it sounds to me is like, so it sounds to me like you're hitting a certain point, and then just before you hit a deeper level of concentration, there's some sort of passage of wind, a prana, some kind of pranic force is moving through your central channel, and just like, almost like a body twitch, you know, forcing your eyes to do that. And, you know, I don't know, you know, have you tried fighting it? Not that I think you should. I mean, have you tried?
it's like a thing that happens if I focus my attention very like sort of with a high pitch on the tip of my nose, and that happens because all my attention is on the tip of my nose. Is just kind of involuntarily just does that. I can like just not do that and then just, yeah, then just my attention won't be as, it won't be as focused if that does happen, so.
Okay. So there's some kind of physical side effect of when that you make that pranic shift, because your thoughts and your winds travel together, prana and mind too. So it's like something happened. It reminds me a lot of many meditations that I've had where I've done that. I mean, it's almost like changing gears.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like boom, and then there's a physical sensation that accompanies changing gears. And once you gear up or something, and you're traveling at a different speed, your mind is in a different place. So I would, think that there's nothing wrong with it, and maybe you can consciously relax the area, and maybe it will be like more of a smooth transition. But and then at that point, maybe you could try a different meditation object as well. Because if you're primed and your focus is primed at that point, it would be interesting to see if at that point you dropped the focus down to the heart or something like that. Like you do, and then you picture a flower or a diamond, at the center of your heart, and you just like immediately switched your focus. And see what happens then. Or go into a contemplation. Right? You could maybe switch and then start to think about the sensations that you're having. And the emptiness, all you've studied about emptiness, it may be at that point a good time to do a contemplation on the lack of self-nature to, the Sharan and all that you're experiencing in that moment. If you could combine that with drawing down to the heart, while you're focusing there, something might happen. Yeah. It would be cool if you could learn to use that, right? Shifting of the gears. Another thing that you might try is one of those two. Another thing you might try is forgetting the breath at that point, if you can, and just turning directly right around and turning directly inward. And try to find try to find that. Where is that place? It's not out there. And so okay, I'm going to try finding that. See what happens. And you report back to us. Sure. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah.
I just want to say something. When I was in India and I saw the sadhus or whatever they were, like sitting all lined up or doing the meditations on the Ganges, they were in this kind of, their eyes were like half open, but their eyes were back up into the top of their head.
It happens a lot.
I think I read about it somewhere too.
Yeah, a lot of stuff like that. Can be very. You can experience a lot of physical sensation in around this area if you focus a lot there and enter the dimension of the sixth chakra. But if you can drop it down to here. Anybody else? Got a question? Like to say, talk about anything? Well, one more time. Thank you all for coming. Oh, there's a possibility of changing it to Monday nights and earlier. 7 p. We could, because the space is clear and it would be less stressful we wouldn't have to do this big switch over like that, and we could actually start at 7 p.m. It would be a Monday night, and just maybe we can talk about that. Does anybody have any thoughts on that? We go like 7 to 8:30. Pardon?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we do like 7 to 8:30 instead of like 7:30 to 9 of home earlier. Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow, that was easy.
It's actually better.
Better.
Yeah, I can actually make every week happen.
Oh, better.
Nice.
Ding. It's a dinger. It's a dinger.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we'll switch. So next Monday, do you think?
Sure, I mean, there's no internet cafe that goes till 7 on Monday, so that means the space will be free earlier. And it won't be this like having to peek in when everybody's gone. So, yeah.
Okay.
We can start it next Monday.
Okay, awesome. So maybe we'll get our fearless leader Joyce of the
Yes.
emails
Okay.
Thank
to
you.
send out that we
Yeah.
So 7 o'clock?
7 o'clock.
Okay.
Great.
Perfect.
Maybe Hogan could come with her.
Pardon?
Maybe Hogan would.
Maybe Hogan could even come.
Fabulous.
Yeah. Great. Well, let's do a dedication. How about we get Mr. Alvaro to lead us in a dedication?
Is it Tibetan medication?
Just any kind of dedication. A dedication, like a dedicate the.
Or
Or-
the practice of the day?
Yeah.
Or the prayer?
To close us off, yeah.
May all beings enjoy and have the fortune of being in such wonderful places as this room with such wonderful people, and may they be helpful to make every sentiment being as happy as possible.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. So Sharon, feel free to vote, man. You can drive over here.
Sure, yeah.
Lots of help. Yeah.